What's poppin'? Welcome back to the Pylon Cam YouTube channel. I am your host, your commander-in-chief, the guy that's going to give you some information. My name is Mike Borcella. Follow the Pylon Cam on @the_Pylon_Cam on Instagram and @Pylon_the on Twitter. And before we get into it, if you are wearing Crocs, you're going to want to put those bad boys into sport mode because it is about to get hairy, kids. So let's get to it with our, Week 4 power rankings. Let's go. So first group of trash we have to sift through before we get to teams worth talking about. We have previously ranked. If you're new to the channel, if you've never seen one of these before, let me tell you, let me break it down for you so I don't gotta do it later on. White means they've stayed the same, red means they've regressed, and green means they progressed. So, that being said, here we go. Let's get into it. Let's get it a little bada bing, a lot of boom, a little gabagool. Right, Tater Tot? My dog is with me for this video. He broke his leg. Tragedy. Coming in at number 32, Week 3, ranked number 32, we have the New York Jets. They just got skunked by the Broncos. Jets fans, you got to be patient because this is going to take quite some time for this rebuild to finish. So I think Zach Wilson is going to be a bust. I've always thought that, but I can't definitively say it until really midway through next season. But it's looking towards their trajectory that way. Robert Saleh can't coach an offense, it seems. Their offensive line attempted rebuild is terrible. Mekhi Becton is out for the season. I haven't really heard anything about Elijah Vera Tucker, who's the left guard they traded up to draft. And they can't run the ball. So Zach Wilson is a turnover machine. They can't run the ball. They're staying at 32. I think they're actually the only... No, the Dolphins did. I was going to say that I think they're the only team that put up 0 points, but that would have been wrong. Coming in at rank 31, previously 31, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars. This team just stinks. I'm at a loss for words. I don't know how they could have possibly regressed. That's where I'm at. How did you get the quarterback? You blame Gardner Minshew for everything. You blame blah, 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 blah. And you get the quarterback, and you're still bad. You're not even, competing in games. Yeah, at least with Gardner, you were kind of competitive in a few games. I think you won the first game. And don't hear what I'm not saying. I'm not saying Gardner Minshew is better than Trevor Lawrence. I'm saying Urban Meyer is a bad coach and he's in over his head. So that's going to need a turnaround at a quick pace, or they're going to be bad. Coming in at rank 30, previously 27, I have the New York Football Giants. They are just bad. They have no excuses this season. This was a season for this team. They really had no excuses. They fixed the offensive line. Basically, this is the thing with the Giants and why they're just bad. Is because every excuse they had last season is no longer relevant. The offensive line is playing better. Andrew Thomas is grading out as one of the best tackles in football. And Daniel Jones is playing nearly perfect. The touchdowns haven't followed yet, but he's had a few get called back from penalties that he ran in, and a few attempts to Kenny Golladay that were blown coverage were called back or he was never given the chance to catch it because of pass interference. So I just blame coaching. This team is probably the worst, besides the Jaguars, and the Jets, probably the worst coached team in the entire NFL. Jason Garrett has no idea what he's doing. Joe Judge is calling challenges on plays that are already reviewed, and then kneeling the ball on second with 7 seconds left in the half in a game they're losing, and he's punting on the opponent 39-yard line instead of kicking a field goal. So this is just the worst coached team in the NFL. They're never going to get better until Jason Garrett is gone. But yeah, that's all I got to say about them. Houston Texans, previously 28th, coming in 29th. They are just bad. And I think that, they would have been all right with Tyrod Taylor because he was playing, at such a high level for him. For Tyrod Taylor, he was playing at such a high level. And now they have Davis Mills, who, like, maybe he's good, but I'm not going to say anything until I see it. And I'm going to pause here because I forgot to say it at the beginning. Biggest thing that I take into account when I go deep dive into my brain and think to myself, how do I want to move these pieces? How do I want to rank these teams? I do not overreact to games. I react to how the team played against the competition they were playing against. That is how my peanut-sized brain works, okay? So the Lions played competitively against the Ravens. What does that mean? They move up. The Giants played bad and lost to the Falcons. They move down, even though on paper they are a better roster. The Atlanta Falcons got to move up. They're still trash. I was actually at this game, and they are trash. Matt Ryan had Calvin Ridley and Kyle Pitts open down the field so many times, and he just continuously checks down to Cordero Patterson because he's horrified to throw the ball. I don't know what happened to his arm. It was fine last season, and this year it just seems like it just disintegrated overnight. So God knows what happened to him. Coming in at ranked 27, previously ranked 26, Washington football team. I kind of have been saying this for about 2 weeks now, since they played the Giants. The Washington football team does not do anything special. Their defense does not do anything special. They were supposed to have a dominant defensive front, but they're actually grading in the 25th or lower in all pass rush metrics and pressure metrics. They're not getting to the quarterback, and their secondary is kind of terrible. And Taylor Heineke's not good. Like, I've been saying this for weeks now. We all want Taylor Heineke to be good because it's a Cinderella story, blah, 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 blah. But, like, Taylor Heineke, there's a reason he was playing in the XFL. There's a reason he's coming off the practice squad. There is a reason he just threw 2 picks against Tre'Davious White because he stares at Terry McLaurin. If Terry McLaurin's not open, he throws it to Logan Thomas. If Logan Thomas isn't open, he forces it to Terry McLaurin. That doesn't fly against man defense, especially when you're playing against a player like Tre'Davious White. This was, if you follow the Pylon on Instagram, you know that I said that Washington or the Bills -7 was probably one of the safest bets because there's no way Taylor Heineke and Terry McLaurin keep pace with the Bills, especially with Gibson playing the way he is. Anyway, coming in at rank 26, previously ranked 30, the Detroit Lions. So the Detroit Lions, to me, every week they're competing and every week they're scoring points. They were in that, and yes, the Ravens are the most banged up roster of football. That's not deniable. But the Lions compete. They come out every week and they are competing. And in a franchise, we were going through a rebuild where you are sifting through the trash of which players want to be here, which players want out, which one of my young guys do I need to protect. DeAndre Swift, Penei Sewell, and Jeff Okudah, RIP, because his Achilles is gone. But they come out and play every week. Jamal Williams is playing great. Like, this team really is playing well. They're not winning games, but it's because they're so young. So, like, Lions fans, I would be optimistic. I have no faith in Jared Goff, so you got to start looking at quarterbacks. If you guys are smart, you do not draft one this year because I think all these quarterbacks are trash, personally. But I could be wrong. But if you do, I'm rooting for you guys. I hope you guys find the right one. I like the Lions a lot. I like Dan Campbell. I think he's an absolute house of a human being. It's part of the reason why I like him. Yep, that's going to do it for these guys. Let's go to the next batch. A little bit less of trash here. We have the Indianapolis Colts ranking 25, previously 21. The Carson Wentz experiment is failing. He plays every play, every snap like he's about to win a Super Bowl. And that's why he has not one but 2 sprained ankles, a high and a low sprain, because when Aaron Donald was running at him, instead of sliding, he tried to throw it. He tried to run and throw it. You're never going to outrun Aaron Donald. He's a freak of nature. Coming in at 24, previously ranked 23, we have the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears, we all were duped in that Justin Fields would save them. Now, I'm not saying Justin Fields is bad, but what I am saying is Matt Nagy probably has the second worst schematic offense to Jason Garrett in the entire NFL, and that needs to change. And I've gained a lot of respect for Mitch Trubisky that he took the team to the playoffs twice under Matt Nagy's offense. So that's all I'll say about that. Coming in at rank 23, previously ranked 12, the Steelers. Now, the Steelers, to me, were, if healthy, going to be a good team. They are not healthy. And for those reasons, I had to start moving them down because until they're healthy, this isn't an overreaction. Like, this current Pittsburgh roster is trash. They don't have Claypool. They don't have Deontay Johnson. Juju Smith went out of the game. Your best receiver is your running back. And your quarterback can't stay on his own 2 feet when he moves. So, and you're missing your best pass rusher. So, for those reasons, I got to move the Steelers down. They showed promise when they are healthy, and I do believe in Mike Tomlin. I come up here and say it every week. I believe in Mike Tomlin. But they are just in such a bad spot that I can't keep them near the top or even the middle of the pack. So the Philadelphia Eagles have come in at number 22 on my power rankings for the third straight week. For all my Game of Thrones fans out there. That's what the Philadelphia Eagles are. No, I'm just kidding. The Eagles, to me, they just got slaughtered by Dallas. And the real reason why I had them at 22 to begin with was because I was like, all right, Jalen Hurts, big knock, 54% completion percentage in his rookie year through 4 games, right? 3 games. And then year 2, he comes out of the gate with a 70% completion percentage. Everybody's like, whoa, Nick Sirianni figured this kid out. And then the past 2 weeks back to 54%. So their defense is good. It's getting hurt. They lost their best pass rusher. Fletcher Cox was cramped. I think he had cramps, so he's not hurt. And the O-line's getting hurt. They just lost their left guard. So I don't know what to do with the Eagles because I still, I would take them over pretty much every team below them handily except for 3 on this power ranking list. But who they play this week? I forget who they play this week, but it'll be a test. If they lose this week, I gotta move them down. Coming in at 21, previously 24, Cincinnati Bagels. So the Cincinnati Bengals are super scrappy, but it's really just Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow did lose them the game. They could be 3-0 if Joe Burrow didn't throw 3 interceptions on 3 plays against Chicago in the fourth quarter, but he did, so they lost. This is a very scrappy team. Their identity is literally in Joe Burrow and his. Joe Burrow is like Leonardo of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and then you have T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, and Jamar Chase as Raphael, Donatello, and Michelangelo. That's basically how I see this offense. That's how I see this team. Their defense doesn't do anything great. They have their safety's nasty. I'm forgetting his name. And Joe Mixon's there. Joe Mixon would be maybe Joe Mixon is Leonardo and Joe Burrow's Splinter. Anyway, that's enough Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for this video. Coming in at rank 20, previously ranked 20, the Saints. I cannot move the Saints up because I still have no idea what they are. Besides one of the best run stopping teams in the NFL. So I have no idea what to make of them yet. Jameis hasn't played well, even in their win over. They probably would have lost to the Patriots if the Patriots receivers didn't decide, hey, whoever is covering me, here's the football. Take it from me. Those picks, some of them were Mac Jones' fault. The one that he threw at the goal line and just threw it the wrong way. That was bad. But Jonnu Smith's wasn't that bad, and one got tipped at the line. So I guess 2 are his fault. But if he doesn't throw those picks, I think they win that game. So I don't know what to make of the Saints yet because very rarely would I imagine that Mac Jones throws 3 interceptions in a game. So I'm kind of still iffy on the Saints because I don't believe in their offense. They still only scored 20 points, and the brunt of that was because of Alvin Kamara, not Jameis Winston. So I really have no idea what the Saints team is yet. And like I've said before on this channel, every team has an identity. And I don't know the Saints' identity. I could tell you the identity of every team on this screen except for the Saints. I'm not going to do that because, Colts, running, and the great offensive line. Chicago Bears, I actually don't know. Pittsburgh Steelers, great defense, great coach. The Eagles, this year it's the defense. Cincinnati, it's the offense. And then the Minnesota Vikings, it's the offense. It's in the passing game for the Vikings. It's in the passing game for the Bengals. The run game for the Colts. Carson Wentz is a bum. But the Vikings. So the Vikings were a team that I had originally slated to make the wild card. Now I look like an idiot. But they have been competitive in all of their losses except for they're 1-2. So the Bengals game they should have won. Dalvin Cook fumbled and should have iced the game. They would have beat the Cardinals if the kid kicks a field goal, but for whatever reason the Vikings are cursed. And they came out and beat the Seahawks, which was a very big win. I still think I'm not sold on the Seahawks being bad by any means. I just think that they're asking way too much from Russell Wilson. And at this point in his career, I still think he could do it, but they gotta start helping him on defense. Like, this defense is the worst run block. I think it's ranked 26th in run defending in the entire league. The Seahawks, that is. So, Vikings are a top 10 offense in almost every metric. Their defense stinks in the passing game, but if they can outshoot people, then they can win games. That's the thing. If you've been following this channel from the very beginning, I believe there are four types of teams. Elite teams, which good offenses, good defenses. Shootout teams that offenses carry their defense. Balanced teams that have a better defense than they do offense. And then trash, where you just have neither. So, I think we're talking about a lot of trash so far. The teams don't really get decent, in my opinion, until rank 21. The Colts are still so confusing to me. I have no idea why they're 0-3. They almost beat the Rams. So I can't figure out the Colts. And I think that what I've realized from this past weekend of really being in airports and just looking at numbers and studying football, I consistently forget to factor in stupidity into all of my takes, because stupidity is the only thing that could derail the numbers, because numbers are numbers. You can't argue with that. But when you have someone who's stupid calling plays, you just can't factor that in. I gotta start thinking about how can someone stupid mess up this game for these teams. So that's my take on that little rant. Here we have a lot of movement, and I think that we're kind of at the point where we're seeing where the chips are going to fall and stay, in my opinion. Starting at 18, previously ranked 18, the Miami Dolphins, they went toe-to-toe with Vegas, and this offense weirdly looks better with Jacoby Brissett, and I think that's because he's using Mike Gesicki more. In the past two games, he's targeted Gesicki 18 times. Tua only targeted him 3 times in their 17-14 win over New England. But their defense is bad. Like, their defense isn't bad, but it's very much so letting a lot of fans down. A lot of Dolphins fans down, because it was supposed to be a great unit. It was supposed to be very well coached, and you have the second consecutive week where a team is scoring over 30 points on them. So I don't know what to make of the Dolphins yet either. They're still kind of, if their offense if Jacoby Brissett is the spark for the offense, then you really got to evaluate Tua and what you're going to do with him, because I know the Miami owner is in love with Deshaun Watson, and all of the trade talks are for Deshaun Watson coming from Miami. So if your team is better with Brissett, you gotta trade. In my opinion, you gotta trade Tua. I'm not saying for Deshaun, but you gotta move him, because that's your 5th overall pick from 2 years ago. Justin Herbert was right there. Imagine this team with Justin Herbert. So anyway, coming in at rank 17, previously ranked 15, New England Patriots. The New England Patriots, I've been saying this for a while now, and by a while I mean 2 weeks. They need Mac Jones to throw the ball downfield. He's I don't think, I give him a pass because they really don't have the weapons to do it. But at the same time, he's got to just do it, because he literally will have people open and just continuously throw to his checkdowns. He's averaging, I think, 3.1 or 3.4 average intended air yards, or air yards per attempt. So he's not throwing the ball far at all. And I just don't think, when you have Tom Brady, and Mac Jones is supposed to be a similar quarterback in terms of skill set to Tom Brady, in terms of efficiency, etc., you still got to take your deep shots. That's why I really do think they're going to trade Stephon Gilmore for Michael Thomas. I've been saying that for a while. But anyway, coming in at rank 16, previously ranked 16, I had Tennessee Titans. Who did the Titans play this past week? I'm forgetting off the top of my head. Let me see. Just give me a second. They played the Colts. That's right. So the Titans are 2-1. They beat the Seahawks, which was impressive. They beat the Colts, which was impressive. However, the Colts wasn't impressive. Scratch that. The Seahawks was impressive. But they're beating teams because of Derrick Henry. Ryan Tannehill is having a horrible year. A.J. Brown is now week to week with a hamstring injury. And Julio Jones also might be out this week with a hamstring injury. So, until this passing offense develops, I don't think you can rely, you definitely can rely on Derrick Henry, but I don't think it's sustainable, especially with how frequently we are seeing injuries on turf. If you missed the podcast from today, it just came out about an hour ago, so you probably just haven't gotten to it yet. But the Players Union is actually asking for turf fields to be removed from the NFL because of how many non-contact injuries the teams are suffering. We're going to talk about a few of them when we talk about the Panthers. But so I won't say about the Titans. I just need to see them pass the ball because I know Derrick Henry can be limited. We've seen the Ravens do it to them, so you need to do more. The Packers are, I do believe the Packers fundamentally are a bad football team on defense, but Aaron Rodgers is still Aaron Rodgers, and he has Devontae Adams and Aaron Jones, so I just don't think it's going to get you far because they still haven't beaten a good offense, in my opinion. They lost to the Saints, who have the worst passing offense. They beat the Lions, who are the Lions, and you have the 49ers, who, if it's a close game going into the fourth quarter, Jimmy Garoppolo chokes. And Kyle Shanahan does not trust Jimmy Garoppolo in the fourth quarter. So the Packers have a very easy string of games coming up, so their record is going to continue to inflate. But I'm telling you, when they play talent, they will start to lose, and they will get exposed. They got exposed by the Saints. The Saints are not a good football team. The Saints are not a good offense. So... And the Packers cannot stop the run. They cannot stop it. That theory that they have, or not theory, that belief that they can stop a run is so, basically why the Packers think they could stop the run is because they shut down Derrick Henry in a blizzard at Lambeau. That's when they were like, oh, we could stop the run now. They cannot. Alvin Kamara is not a true running back in the sense if you watch from one of my first videos, my top 10 running backs going into this season for fantasy, Alvin Kamara has the lowest volume of pure carries out of all the top 10. He came in at 3 because he's still Alvin Kamara. But he does not get a high amount of rushing volume. And I'm not saying he's a bad running back. I'm saying that fact just remains that if they're going to use Alvin Kamara, it's going to be within the passing game. And even in the running game, he gashed the Packers. So, yeah. Coming in at rank 14, previously ranked 19, the Carolina Panthers. So, the Panthers play the Cowboys this week. And I think that this is going to be a shootout-style game. This is the first real team that the Panthers have. I can't even say that, though, because they beat the Saints. So, I think this is going to be a close game. The reason why I think the Panthers will lose is because, they lost J.C. Horn, who is their DB1, and having a great year. He broke his foot, non-contact injury because of turf. Christian McCaffrey's out with a hamstring injury, non-contact injury because of turf. So, I think that this is going to be a very close game. I think this is going to show, like I said, I'm not saying if they lose to the Cowboys, they're going to plummet the rankings, but this is a game where they could lose and stay at 14 depending on how competitive they keep it, because I really do think the Cowboys are a very good team this year. I think Dan Quinn was the missing ingredient for that defense, and I think Kellen Moore was a game changer for that offense with how creative he has it. So the Panthers will have their first real test, in my opinion, on both sides of them. I'll say this. They have their first real test on both sides of the ball this week against Dallas. Las Vegas Raiders, 3-0. Not impressed with them still. I was impressed with the Ravens win. I was not impressed with the Steelers win because of how hurt they are. TJ Watt didn't play that game. And they beat the Dolphins. And almost lost to Jacoby Brissett. This is what I'm saying. The Raiders are the only 3-0 team that might miss the playoffs. And it's going to be damn close because I think that they will finish fourth in that division when the records are done. I think it'll be Chiefs or Chargers, 1, 2. Broncos at 3, and then Raiders at 4. I really do think that. Because John Gruden is just such an emotional human being. Then ranked 12, previously ranked 17, I have the Dallas Cowboys. Like I said, their defense is playing incredibly impressively under Dan Quinn. Micah Parsons, they're now putting him as they're splitting his snaps between linebacker and just pure edge rusher, lining him up on the edge, and he is grading out as one of the best edge rushers in the entire NFL. So that kid is just a freak. And it's his big weakness is he's easily misdirected. It's hard to misdirect someone coming in off the edge, unless it's like RPO or something, or play action. But that really, like, if you take away Micah Parsons' one true weakness, then, like, how do you stop this kid? Sorry, it's my puppy. Coming in, rank 11, previously ranked 11, the Denver Broncos. Again, like I've said, I really evaluate who they play and how they played them. And the reason why I didn't move them up yet is because even though they pooped on the Jets, offensively and defensively, I want to see them play someone good. And they're playing the Ravens this week, so this is good. I think the next 4 weeks we're really going to see the Broncos, because if they go 500 over the span of the next 4 weeks, they're legit. And they just have to win two of their next 4. So we're gonna keep our eye on the Broncos. I see people put them in the top 10. That is insanity. I think their roster can be top 10. I just need to see them play someone talented. Or not top 10, because I have them at 11. I mean, like, top 5 or right outside. No shot. That's crazy. They've played the Jets, the Giants, and the Jaguars. Coming in at rank 10, previously ranked 10, like, I'm not dropping them because the Packers will always be a good team so long as Aaron Rodgers is there, so I cannot drop them for that reason. But they need to figure their quarterback situation out, and their running back situation is a mess when you have Kyle Juszczyk being your lead back because of so many injuries, and Sermon only had like 30 yards. He did score, though. The 49ers are getting scary to me, like, as in they might not be as good as I thought they were. But we still don't know what this team looks like with Trey Lance, and Jimmy Garoppolo is averaging the most design, or has the most designed run plays for a quarterback out of all of them. So what does that mean when Trey Lance plays? How much are they going to run Trey Lance? Because I think that the Trey Lance, if he could be accurate enough, really will elevate this offense. And I believe in Trey Lance. I think he's the real deal. I just really don't think he's ready to play yet. I think he'll be ready to play soon. But coming in at rank 9, previously rank 8, I have the Seattle Seahawks. They're just 1 and 2, and they can't find ways to stop people from scoring on them. Whether it's passing or running, they just cannot stop people from scoring on them. It's the same thing with the team we're going to talk about in the top 5. They need to clamp down on defense, because this Seattle team is good enough it's a good enough offense where it can compete with whoever, but you gotta stop teams. Like, that's the biggest thing. That's why the expression is defense wins championships. You gotta be able to stop teams, and Seattle just can't do it yet. Coming in at rank 8, previously ranked 7, I have the Arizona Cardinals. I moved them down solely because of who moved up. It wasn't anything they did. I just think that Cliff Kingsbury puts very realistic limitations on this team because he's a bad head coach. And I think that the players' talent can only get them so far for so long. So, I'm worried about this team under Cliff Kingsbury. That's basically it. But their talent is definitely top 10. AJ Green is starting to play really well. And, yeah, Kyler Murray is still at an MVP level, out of this world. Coming in at rank 7, previously ranked 9, the Los Angeles Chargers. They beat the Chiefs this week. And this is what I mean about you need to be able to stop teams, because the reason why the Los Angeles Chargers won that game was because they were able to create turnovers. They were stopping the Chiefs. The Ravens, now the Chiefs are 1 and 2. Who would have ever thought? But the Ravens took the ball out of Lamar's hands. The Chargers took the ball I mean, when I say they took it out of Mahomes' hands, is they kept him off the field. They literally just chewed the clock and made him stay off the field, and they stopped Tyreek Hill. The Los Angeles Chargers, they were able to pick off Patrick Mahomes. And they're able to go toe-to-toe with them. So if you have a team that has a similar offense but a better defense, obviously that team's going to win because they're creating turnovers. So I got the Chargers impressed me. I'm a huge Chargers fan this year, as in I really do believe in them. I really think they're going to go far. But I think that, they're 2-1 in the division, and I think that as of today, as of September 29th, the Chargers are the best overall team in the division. I'm not saying don't hear what I'm not saying. It's like my coined phrase. Do not hear what I am not saying. Justin Herbert is not better than Patrick Mahomes. That is not what I'm saying. But Justin Herbert is good enough to go toe-to-toe with Patrick Mahomes given the Chiefs' defense as of today. That's what I am saying. Coming in at rank 6, previously ranked 6, I have the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens, to me, they're so fascinating because they went out and beat the Chiefs, and then they go out and they beat the Lions. They did beat the Lions, but they were missing 5 key defensive players. So what I'm trying to gather about the Ravens is so what does this team actually look like with a full roster? Because they're missing J.K. Dobbins, they're missing Gus Edwards, they're missing Justice Hill, they're missing Marcus Peters, they're missing so many players, and they're still finding ways to win games with Lamar Jackson turning the ball over. So how good of a coach is John Harbaugh then? Because he just keeps his team constantly competitive, and Justin Tucker might be the best kicker of all time. But I mean, this team is unreal. I'm not moving them up because they did almost lose, but I'm not moving them down. I'm not losing them down because they did almost lose, but I'm not moving them up because they won. I need to see this team play. They play the Broncos this week. That'll be a very interesting game, depending on how many players the Ravens have come back from injury, because this is the first real test for the Broncos. The Ravens have been battle tested at this point. They lost to the Raiders, should have won that game. They beat the Chiefs, and they beat the Lions, who are a scrappy team. The Lions are going to be annoying for everybody to play for the rest of the season. That's why I moved them up so high, because whoever they play, they're in the game. You can't say that the Lions are just getting blown out, even with their crappy offense. They're finding ways to make it work. DeAndre Swift is playing like a beast. Jamal Williams is playing like a beast. Penei Sewell looks great. And TJ Hawkinson's elite. So the problem is their defense. We're not going to talk about the Lions anymore. I don't want to go on any tangents. This video is long enough. Coming in at rank 5, previously ranked 3, I have the Chiefs or McDonald's, because that's what they look like according to this graphic. For me, they'll never move out of the top 5 because I have Patrick Mahomes, and I really do think when you have a player where the point deficit doesn't matter, and it doesn't matter how much time is on the clock, he can come back and win a game. Yeah, you're not going to move out of the top 5, but their defense is 32nd in the NFL, and that absolutely fundamentally 100% needs to change, or they're going to continue. Someone had them ranked 12th, and I was like, buddy, that is ridiculous. You're taking 11 teams to beat the Chiefs. Now I'm not saying the rank of this order is who I think could beat who, but that's how a lot of people do it, and that's how this one person in particular was doing it, and I was like, you're on crack, man. But the Chiefs' defense really does need to step it up because they're losing games because of their defense at this point. They got ran all over by the Ravens. They got thrown all over by the Chargers. They got to adjust. They really do need to make an adjustment, or they're not going to make it to the Super Bowl. I don't think Patrick Mahomes is that good where he could beat playoff teams by himself, because at this point, Patrick Mahomes is ad-libbing so much that it's not working anymore. He needs to stay in the pocket and just make his throws, because you're netting more loss than you are gain, almost. So, for those reasons, Chiefs got to do better. Coming in at rank 4, previously ranked 5, I have the Browns. The Browns, to me, still have the overall best roster in football. The Bills and the Rams are probably close second or on par. But the Browns, again, the Browns, This is my thing with the Browns and why I think that they're actually could be so much better if they didn't have Baker Mayfield. They don't score points. Like, how many times do I have to watch a highlight of Nick Chubb running for 60 yards or Kareem Hunt running for 30 yards and breaking 6 tackles? How many times do I have to sit here and watch that? And they still win games, but what would they do if they had even like Sam Darnold, who I think if Kevin Stefanski was in that draft room, I think he either would take Saquon Barkley, Sam Darnold, or Josh Allen if they go quarterback, maybe Quentin Nelson, but I don't get it, man. Like, this team is so capped by Baker Mayfield, it's disgusting. And like people say certain teams look like, oh, if you ask a fan, like, oh, our offense looks like a high school offense. If you're asking fans of teams who are on the bottom 25 of this list, the Cleveland Browns literally run a play-action roulette-style offense that you run in high school. That is the entirety of their offense, and they have the best run-blocking offensive line in football. So really, how much does Baker Mayfield do? And how much does he limit this team? Coming in at rank 3, previously ranked 3, the Bills, they are on fire. They put up over 30 points in their past 2 games. And they literally fixed their 2 biggest weaknesses was being able to run the ball in the red zone. Zach Moss is doing a very efficient job at that. And number 2, they've created probably the best pass rush in football literally overnight. So, for those reasons, now the Bills have no weakness because Josh Allen, people were like, oh, Josh Allen's, he's regressing to his sophomore season. No, Josh Allen just needed literally a day to get some reps in a real game. Now he's fine. Coming in at rank 2, previously ranked 1, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I had a feeling the Rams were going to win this game. I bet the Rams win this game. I was right about the Rams winning this game. The Buccaneers' defense is not playing to what people expected it to, and that's the issue. It needs to be better. They're stopping the run, but they are horrible at stopping the pass. And yeah, sure, that they had one player, I'm forgetting his name, one of their D-backs broke his arm, I think, like the first game against the Cowboys. It was really gruesome. It was disgusting. But, yeah, that defense needs to do better, and they need to be able to run the ball because Leonard Fournette and Ronald Jones are not it. So you need to go make a trade. Los Angeles Rams, number 1, previously ranked 2. I just think the Rams are so hot right now. Sean McVay is the best scripting head coach in the entire NFL. That's why they score on the first drive of every single game, every week. And their defense is lit. Like, Jalen Ramsey, Aaron Donald, you got the whole gang. And they signed John Johnson III from the Browns. No. I think the Browns signed John Johnson III from the Rams. But anyway, their defense is still great. And I just don't see anybody stopping them anytime soon. Cooper Kupp and Matt Stafford are like the most electric thing in football right now. But that is going to wrap up this video. If you liked what you heard, go ahead. It'll help me out a lot. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. If you didn't like it, and you think I'm an idiot, and you want to say how much you hate me, go ahead and dislike, comment, subscribe. I don't care, because if you leave me a little bit of constructive criticism, this channel gets a little bit better for you, the user, the consumer, the guy, the gal, the pal. But go ahead, follow us on Twitter at Pylon_the, and then follow us on Instagram at _Pylon_Cam. Check out our podcasts on Spotify and YouTube. Pylon Camp Podcast on Spotify and the Pylon Camp channel, which you are currently listening to on YouTube. Later this week, we have our start, sit, stock, sell video coming out this week. It'll be out tomorrow. And our pick'ems for this week. Also, new podcast episode comes out tomorrow. NFL coverage by your boy. We're going to go through a lot of juicy information that I'd really like for you to listen to because I like the company. Anyway, that's going to do it for this video. Go ahead, like, comment, subscribe. Peace!